So let's talk a little bit more about the new and used car death spiral that our global economy is currently in. And I got some charts. So here's a good one. This is the price of new vehicles over time. From 2014, it went from $30,000 up to $46,000. And that's only 2022. And it's still going up. So that's a steep, anytime there's a hockey stick chart, it's not good. Here's a maybe not it directly related, but I think this is pretty directly related. This is total outstanding credit card balances from 1999 to now. Again, hockey stick. It's kind of doing that thing. So, these payments are going up. People are in more credit card debt than they've ever been in. Less and less people have some spending money, and we're spiraling. You can see it. Next up, take a look at this. So car repossessions have increased 23% in 2024. So even, 14% higher than pre-pandemic levels. So it's not like we're just going back to pre-pandemic levels. We're at like 9% repossession rate. We're at, 23% higher, whatever the rate is. It's not a repossession rate, but it's 23% higher. Not good. Then you see a chart like this. So from 2003 through the financial crisis of 2008 and now all the way up. So that's auto loans and leases, balances in the trillions of dollars. So people are carrying more debt on their vehicles than ever before. So along with the first one of, prices have increased, this shows that people aren't just buying cars outright, they're still going into debt, and the debt is increasing aggressively. And that's a problem as well. So not only that, these banks are now carrying more debt on their balance sheets. So, somebody like Wells Fargo or Chase or some of these companies are holding all of this car debt that is now at high risk debt. So banks are starting to kind of sweat this a little bit. It's not good because this debt is on a balance sheet of a bank. And these banks there's a whole banking situation going on as well. Banks are combining and the banks are not doing great. So the problem is these banks can repossess these cars, but the issue comes, they can't really resell them. They are sending new cars and used cars to auction, but people aren't really buying them because a lot of these dealers are already full of vehicles and they are not selling these higher end, more expensive cars. So some of these like mid-tier, the top tier cars will still sell to wealthy people. The cheap $5,000 cars will always still kind of sell to the people getting out of those $40,000 cars or first-time cars, whatever it is. People are still looking for those. But those common, I hate to say it, but like $40,000 to like $70,000 cars, $60,000 cars are the ones that are really hurting. And that's a huge portion of the automotive industry right now. And then you see things like this that also kind of reiterate that people are holding onto their vehicles longer. You can see the average age of, the cars, and it's just on its way up. People are holding onto their cars longer. They're spending more money to keep them on the road. They are doing just the bare minimum of maintenance. They're not doing like huge amounts of maintenance because, again, people don't have that kind of spending money, but they're putting it on credit cards and they're holding onto their cars for longer. So if you remember back to 2008-9, there was a cash for clunkers. I think something like that might have to happen. But again, you can't really predict this stuff because the government is run by completely unpredictable lunatics and crazy things can happen. So God only knows what might happen as this bubble begins to pop. And I think it's a bubble within a bubble. There's a bigger bubble that this is just kind of like, you can see this one a little easier, but yeah, there's some crazy things going on in the car world. Definitely worth watching.